Hey guys, welcome back. It's AJK, and I'm going to be doing my first top 5. So today I'm going to be looking at alternative history of Nazis in World War II, meaning the alternative term to history, as it's changed, as the new release of SSGB coming to UK on Sunday, and the release of Sniper Elite, and the Nazi theories of PewDiePie. I thought it was only necessary to do alternative history of what I think is the best thing about it. Despite it's not the best thing about it, this is going to be relevant to movies and games. I enjoy looking at alternative history because what's more unsatisfactory than looking at the Nazis taking over the world, taking over the UK, taking over Britain and America, and planting a flag on the moon? Son of a... Anyway, we're going to be looking at what I think is the most important about this, and as it's only necessary with the recent acts of PewDiePie, as I said, and everyone else with Nazism to speak, I thought it was necessary for me to do this video. So, let's begin.
Dead wrong.
5. Before I start with number 5, I'm just getting one thing straight. I do not support Nazis whatsoever, so if you think I'm going to be like PewDiePie and support all the Nazis that ever existed, you are wrong before I start swearing and go absolutely mental. Is that clear? Thank you. There's so much different kinds of content in the works of, well, let's say, there's so much people that's actually written back in the 50s, the 60s. There was even a what if the Germans took over in the middle of World War II. I believe it was made in 1942, I believe. Inspired by these people that made the what if this happens, like what if Kennedy lived, what if he didn't live? Well, obviously know what happens if he didn't live, but what if he did live, he didn't get killed? But when it comes to Nazis, World War II is my favourite subject. So when I think about it, I'm like, hold on. This could be a whole change of history. And just to make another point, if people think it's bad right now that Donald Trump is in charge of America, would they have preferred if Adolf Hitler, back in 1945, took over the United States, Britain and Europe, and he was able to have his 1,000-year life? Now, tell me if that would be better than him having hit Donald Trump's war and immigration ban. I would probably guess Hitler would kill nearly every single Jew or foreigner that tries to make life in the countries. But back to the real subject. There's so much. We've got SSGB. This was a guy that wrote a book in 1964, I believe. You got Wolfenstein: A New Order. That's a game that came out in 2014. We have Man in the High Castle, which is related on a book which was made back in the day. And I said there was that movie in 1942, which makes sense of people being scared of what would have happened if he took over, and the Nazis, and what they could have done. 4. The map changes. Despite how anyone's written it, how long the lane lasts for, it can last for 15 odd years, it could last another 10 to 20, or up to 2000, the year 2000. I don't know. I hope it doesn't. But the map changes, because in different contents we have the fatherland, if you ever watched that movie, it was in 1994. Well, that had entire of Europe underneath the Nazi life, which means America's left alone because they pulled out before anything went wrong, because that's after D-Day. Funny enough, Germany took over. German forces was able to push back Russia towards its border, and that was it. They never took over Germany, they just stayed in the European border and became a Nazi nation. But in SSGB, they took over Britain after the Battle of Britain because they won it, which I don't know if it means they took over America, but I highly doubt it, because I was a high opponent. So that's what happens. They decide to take over Britain, that means the whole Europe's underneath Nazi control. That's it. But when we go to Wolfenstein, The New Order, and Man in the High Castle, it is different. Let's start with Wolfenstein The New Order. For a start, Wolfenstein, they take over Europe, they take over the African plains, they take over Russia, they take over Britain, and then they take over America, which just makes you boil, doesn't it? Which means they have a whole control of the entire world, making everyone scared of them, and a bunch of war machines. And when you've got Man in the High Castle, no war machines there, but they have done the same thing. I'm not sure about Russia itself, but I believe Russia was kept in its same border and they got a treaty running. But this is where it gets weird. It's always the Americans that get the punishment for this. It is when you look at the map, here we go, the Pacific side of the border belongs to the Japanese Empire. I believe it's called that now. Well, the Pacific Coast states, that's what it's called. Because Germany was able to allow the takeover from America to the center. So America's New York City, Washington inwards, and that was it. That was fine. Done. Oh yeah, I forgot, Wolfenstein, they nuked one of the two big cities. Yeah, they nuked it. Arseholes. And, well, they were able to create two states, one for the Pacific states and the German state of America, and they left this little bit of the non-American Nazi state. It's still under Nazi control, but it's the last remnant of America itself, which just makes you boil with anger. Worse, look at this picture right here, and look at it. They've even developed a small plan to take down Scotland. I mean, even God, they've got their own plan to take Scotland. Okay, this is getting too stressful. This is too stressful. It's too bright in here. Flee. History has changed. So, basically, as we are all aware, the history has changed. Meaning,
was forced into submission.
Well, it's too obvious to make it a factor. It's too obvious. The fact is, Germans have took over nearly the whole world. Fatherland made it to the past Russia. Wolfenstein made it all the way over to America. Man in High Castle, America with a nuke on top, and well, basically it just changes the whole scale of history as a whole. Because I believe in Fatherland, Roosevelt was still President of the United States. By the time of 1964, as it was shown, it was Hitler's 75th birthday, it was meant to be Kennedy. But I do not know, because I don't really want to watch it, because I don't want to see a bunch of swastikas over Germany, which just makes me raging. Two. There is a change in how society works. So basically in SSGB you get to see how Germans interact with people. The SS is a cruel force. Just to get it straight, the SS is Nazis. Not all Germans were Nazis, but SS is the high authority of Nazis, and anyone with a swastika is official Nazi. So that means just any more person to be hated would be them. Basically, everything is changed, like I said. It's stricter. How things are done is between fear and harsh and a little bit of bullying. This is how the world works now. Because when you watch Man in the High Castle, you're scared for the people that's there because they build on a subject that it's like, oh my god, this is actually happening. These people have to go through this horrors of the Nazis and the Pacific Empire. Well, I call it Pacific States, sorry. And it's like, oh my god, this is harsh. I mean, this is scarily harsh. And then this is only a small part. It's how the people are treated is murderous. We know how bad the Jews were treated. I do not want to think about how an immigration policy will go when it comes to crossing over. I bet as soon as they cross over, they get a bunch of soldiers go down this one car and bloody shoot them all. That's what they're going to probably do. That's how harsh they do things. And when you look at Wolfenstein, that's more stressing because you have war machines in trains looking after an officer with soldiers. I mean, not just soldiers, a robot that kills people. That's mental. And then the social sites is one thing. Look at what they have built. Monstrosities of concrete and disorder. Oh my god. I am horrified when I look at the videos and footage of this massive dome in the middle of Germany symbolizing we victorious, we conquered them all. Yaha. I'm so tempted to swear and punch the screen right now, but I'm not going to. But it's horrifying because you look at when it's Man in the High Castle, you see, oh, the embassy for the Pacific States. Okay, that's a Nazi one. It's like a giant Trump Tower with a Nazi swastika on top. Cool. Not cool. And then when you look at the Times Square in New York City, sorry. Oh, look at that. Swastika in right in the middle of the screen. And then when you look at the SSGB, it was out on Sunday. Well, maybe if you've seen it now. But swastikas all the way down the streets. That's disturbing. That is really disturbing. And then, like, to Wolfenstein just now, I'm going to say, oh my god, what changes? Like, concrete structures of what's happening, and then it's just, oh, and you don't want to know what Wolfenstein did to London. You know what? I'll just show you. I hope you're ready for this. This is going to be something. Remember lovely London? Maybe you can see my picture up there. Lovely London. Da 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 da. Lovely city. Lovely city. I'll show you my little picture. Sorry. I'll show you this. Look at lovely London. Society. Perfect. Nothing wrong. No. This is what Germany looks like. London looks like underneath German rule. Yeah, it's pretty horrifying. Look what they've done to Big Ben. Look at it. It's standing on itself. And look at these monstrous buildings. I mean, I don't even know where I am anymore. This is not even London. I visited London. This is even London I'm used to. That's enough. That's just enough. I've had enough of this. There's nothing more. Okay, maybe the last one. Number 1. Final you get the kill. If you're playing a game, you can't do this in movies, but if you're playing a game like Wolfenstein, you can kill every single last one of those Nazi scum in the face where it hurts or in the balls. Wherever pleases you, you can do that. And you know what's better? When you get to shoot Adolf Hitler in Sniper Elite 4, which is now my favourite game because I get to shoot him in the face. Or his balls. Everyone's got the thing for shooting him in the balls, so I'm not arguing. But you get to kill them. After all the stress you have watching all this diplomacy you've seen, all the horrors they can do, if you can just go and kill them all, that's just a pleasure. That's what I enjoy about the what if situation when it comes to a game. You get to kill them all. No arguing. You don't need to watch them as they cruelly kill a bunch of Jewish people without authorization when you can just shoot them like you can do in, what do you call it, the saboteur, sorry. Someone's going to get shot and you just shoot them instead. Boom, and they're getting so they're getting so I'm gonna wish I could kill them all. Hold on. Right, I'm off to kill some Nazis. Right. Hey, you! Nazi fucker! Why is MB40 so short armored? Fire! Oh my god, they're so bad. Ah! I hope you enjoyed watching this video about my reasons for enjoying watching the, well, idealists looking at alternative history of World War II. I was a little bit extreme when I said, just a minute ago, saying about killing the Germans, but I lived, and I could find out there were no time machines, ever. Unless you are from Man in the High Castle. Yeah. So I hope you liked it. This is for where all the content comes from. If they want to claim copyright, that's up to themselves, but I've explained it right here at the end of the video. So if you like it, look at more videos I've made. Nothing like this one, but I will be looking at Sniper Elite 4, which will be uploaded sometime on this channel. And I hope you like and subscribe, please, to this video so I know what to think about and doing next. Thank you, and may the force be with you. Unless you're German, then you die.